No, but how do you speak against the government if you have really, reduced the entire discussion about the series of words?
The Treasury bench should abuse the opposition.
No, but this is not abusive words. These are not abusive words. How is cheated an abusive word? Childishness, criminal, crocodile tears, disgrace.
Look, I'm giving my own example. I'm giving one example. Give me 30 seconds.
Okay.
Once I said NCRT book mentioned Guru Tegh Bahadur as a refined. I was challenged by a very senior member, a friend of mine, Jairam Ramesh. He said, Mr. Sinha is lying. It's like that. I said, I'm not lying. I will produce the thing. Next day I produced, and lying what was expunged. So lying was not targeted.
Okay, let me bring Priyanka back in this discussion.
And that
Priyanka,
list is being
you heard the argument. The government is also saying that if anything, this is reflecting the bankrupt politics of the opposition, because a number of these words which have been included in these lists have been expunged in assemblies which are ruled by the opposition. Let me give you one example. One such word is unpad, which has been expunged from the Rajasthan assembly, unshunt from Chhattisgarh assembly. So a number of these examples are being cited.
No. Now, unshunt bolna is like, talking nonsense. It's as good as saying that, right? I'm giving you a very basic example where I say this is very hypocritical of the government. They show me one example across the country where hypocrisy has been expunged from the parliamentary records or the assembly records. Or for example, I say I'm ashamed of what is happening. Ashamed becomes an unparliamentary word. I can use this language. I can tell my child that, taking my child's name, that I'm ashamed of this behavior. That has become unparliamentary. If I say that you all have lied to the people of this country, you all have come on the basis of lies. Lies becomes, and let's not forget, in 2014, the entire model of the campaign around Bharatiya Janata Party and Shri Narendra Modi was around one word, which is corrupt. Corruption is all that you heard in 2014. But in 2022, it becomes an unparliamentary word. So those are questions I ask of this government, that daily usage words, you're trying to reduce this entire discussion debate to a few words which hold you accountable. And that is what is shameful. This is extremely saddening that you're reducing the parliamentary discussions to a point where only if you say, Wah, Modi ji, wah, it will not be considered unparliamentary. But the rest, everything you speak against this government suddenly becomes unparliamentary.
So basically the point is that if you seek accountability from the government, you can use your own set of words, but that will be presumed to be words which can be expunged, and that is what the opposition is saying. Raghav Chadha, you are one of those MPs who's very vociferous in his views, and you take to Twitter to talk about it. Will you be now more watchful?
Well, I'll certainly be more watchful, and I will certainly try and ensure that first of all this list gets scrapped, and the government and the Lok Sabha Rajya Sabha Secretariat realizes that by publishing such lists, they're weakening the very institution of democracy. They're weakening the temple of world's largest and greatest democracy, that is the Indian Parliament. You see, by banning these words, by virtue of this gag order, they have, as you have outlined, made words like corrupt, criminal, as well as black marketing unparliamentary. Now, how will the Parliament then legislate on these issues? Are you saying that the Prevention of Corruption Act that has the word corrupt and the definition of the word corruption in it, that law, that legislation has become unparliamentary? The fact that the Indian Parliament has enacted a law to curb black marketing, does it mean that that very law also becomes unparliamentary? These are things that the government of India must think about before coming up with such, rubbish lists. And these are harmless, innocuous words that are used in day-to-day, in common parlance. To ban these words, to issue this gag order, we are going at a speed to disempower the opposition, whereby that day is not far away, where the Lok Sabha Rajya Sabha Secretariat will actually come out with a list, an exhaustive list of words that you can use, and those will be the words that you can use alone. There would not be any other word that you could use. An exhaustive list will be published, and anyone who uses anything beyond that list will either be, those records will be, those words will be expunged from the record, or that person will be will be, labeled as an anti-national.
Okay.
So, this government is disempowering strategically and systematically the opposition. I remember, I would like to rewind back to the days of Shri Atal Bihari Vajpayee Saab, where members of the
should I
opposition
answer?
were treated with respect, they were empowered, they were given the same respect and powers that the MPs of the treasury benches used to enjoy. But today, the current BJP wishes to, disempower the legislature, which is an extremely important pillar of Indian democracy, and it's a sad day.
You know, Rakesh Sinha, the larger question being raised by opposition parties is that it is the parliamentary democracy which is being undermined by this list. That the MPs are there to represent their people, and if people are concerned about certain issues, then why should the words, their choice of words, be decided by this list? That then they'll not be able to speak anything. How do they criticize you? And
Look,
criticism is what makes a democracy healthy.
No, I am giving an example. Here I say that a position has become bankrupt. If I use that, some of the, for any panelist,
Okay, let's have Raghav Chadha on the other window, please. Yes, go ahead.
When I say particular MP in your debate that you are bankrupt, you will intervene and you will say that don't attack each other. Look, this is the condition. When you are saying that government has bankrupt of idea, nobody is going to object. When you say that a particular member, here is basically the words are expunged when there is a heated debate between two members, and then some words are expunged. When one member objects, suppose you said that you are a liar, then I object. Why? How can you say me liar? Then the speaker says that we will examine it, and if it is found that it is wrongly used, then we will expunge that. So these are the things, parliamentary procedures. You are manipulating their parliamentary procedures to manufacture the dissent in the country. That is not going to happen. Okay. This government is a progressive government, pro-people government, and connected with the millions of the people, marginalized people. We are in genuinely related to the last man until the program, and the Prime Minister has emerged as a global leader. You see, earlier the American president used to pat our Prime Minister. This time, President of America rushed to Prime Minister to shake hands. The changes are coming out. Opposition should congratulate Narendra Modi.
You are smiling.
Well,
that can be unparliamentary as well. So,
rather than you are trying to create,
if you are not going in
sync, anarchy in this country.
No, but then anarchy can be unparliamentary as well. If you go by that list.
In a particular term, if I say there is anarchy, nobody will. If I say particular look, these are the things we are in parliament. You see when the words are expunged. We are making more mountain out of mole. Nothing happens in parliament. Suppose I attack someone.
Okay, Raghav, go ahead. Yeah.
Look, the fundamental question before us is that when the presiding officer of the House, which is the Speaker in the Lok Sabha and the Vice President of India in the Rajya Sabha, have the power to expunge anything that they consider to be indecent or undignified, what is the need for the list? And what is the need to include these words in the list? Doesn't this list show the fear of the government to face the truth? You know, there is an English saying that an ugly person blames the mirror, or a bad workman blames his tools. The same very saying applies in this case, that the government of India seems to be blaming the choice of words of the opposition, which exposes their policies. Showing the mirror to the government is the responsibility of the opposition. To critique the policy and functioning of the government is the very responsibility of the opposition that keeps India's democracy alive and kicking.
Okay.
To now strategically, systematically disempower the MPs by coming out with these gag orders, they are demolishing the third pillar, that is the legislature.